Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Hey, you're on with Stewart.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Stuart, how are you?
Pretty good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's 105.9 The Big Kahuna, Honolulu's only classic rock, and Dave Lawrence here with a perfect way to end our month of British rock. We've celebrated a lot of great music over the month, concluding this week-long celebration of the new DVD, The Police, Every Breath You Take. Joining me to make it sort of special and talk about it, as well as the reissue of the remastered Police catalog and Every Breath You Take, the classics, I am thrilled to welcome to the airwaves of 105.9 the incredibly talented drummer Stewart Copeland. It's a pleasure, Stewart.
Oh, shucks, thanks. But hey, wait a minute, there's a problem.
What's that?
This is supposed to be part of your British month?
Yeah.
I'm American.
I know. How does that work out?
Well, I lived in England for 20 years.
Both of those guys are British.
They're Brits.
Andy and
They're
Sting.
teabags.
And now, where did you first hooked up with them? Where?
In London. Actually, the first time I saw Sting, he was playing in a band in Newcastle, which is northern England.
So you're a Brit by association.
That's right.
And how involved with these projects were you?
Not hugely involved, I have to say.
Not huge.
Because the audio enhancement is done by people other than me, and all of that. So I can't say that I'm hugely involved with it. And it's amazing to me, and I'm full of deep, deep gratitude and humility that the music still means something today.
But they don't call you guys up for like the song selection, for example, on the DVD or on Every Breath You Take, the classics.
They run it past us, and we say, okay. But it's kind of a no-brainer because the hits will fill up an album right there.
Sure.
And if I were to get to devote a lot of thought to it, I'd probably come up with the not hits, my favorite Police tracks that weren't singles, for instance. That'd be a great idea for albums.
Yeah.
But, I'm too busy living and doing what I'm doing now to get too carried away with what I did 20 years ago.
And you're sort of, I guess, retouching what you've done 20 years ago by doing this recent Hall of Fame reunion show.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
How's your rapport with the boys? How did that develop into something that we all got to be part of?
Well, it's interesting. The rapport with the other guys has been completely non-police for almost 20 years. And when I go and hang out with either of those two guys, we talk about this and politics and the kids and life and whatever, but it's never in the context of police. So there we were again, after 18 years of developing a whole different kind of relationship, suddenly we're with each other back in that old context, which was the band. And it was odd at first, but by the time we hit the stage, it was great.
I thought this was something that maybe had been planned for a while.
Well, yeah, we had pretty much advanced that this was the year that we would be nominated for the Hall of Fame. What are we going to do about it? And Sting called up and said, hey, let's play. Screw it. I mean, we didn't have to. I mean, maybe this is arrogant or something, but I mean, it didn't really seem as if there was any much of a possibility that we wouldn't get nominated or inducted. So we actually, I guess we did have kind of a heads up pretty early on.
Yeah, that's how I seem to recall it, knowing that you guys were going to do it for a ways out in front. A lot of people here in Honolulu want to know if there's going to be more As the Police, a reunion tour possibly.
Oh, I wish. We should, I'd love to come play Honolulu, just to play a show and, save the volcano. It was really fun to play with those two guys. I'd love to do more shows, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
It doesn't seem likely.
No.
Let's talk drummers for a moment, because I play drums.
Uh-oh, talking drummers. You're going to, I expect me to name names now.
I'll tell you who my two favorite drummers of all time are if you tell me who your two favorites are.
Okay.
Mine would be John Bonham and Cozy Powell.
John Bonham, without a doubt. Cozy Powell, I don't quite get.
I find him to be like a Bonham with 2 feet.
Oh, so in other words, two versions of the same guy.
Correct.
If I were to pick two, Bonham would be one of them.
Hey, there we go.
There's no heavier drummer. There's no drummer who understood better how you use drum set to knock down a building.
We're in sync on that.
And the other guy I would choose would be, I'd have to make it 3, Mitch Mitchell and Buddy Rich.
Nice.
Buddy Rich, because he's the Mozart of drums. Nobody has achieved the complexity of his ability as well as his instincts. And I mean, there's just nobody who's come close to being able to do in a drum set what he did, just in terms of technique and as well as holding the beat, all the things that the drummer's supposed to do. Nobody had it all together like Buddy Rich. Of course, the music that he played was not everybody's favorite kind of music. Mitch Mitchell was, of the rock drummers, the one that actually affected me most. Okay, that's just a personal choice. But John Bonham is the heaviest drummer who ever lived. Period.
You got that right, man. There's no doubt about that. Stuart, what was your first concert, man?
My first concert was at the American Beach Club in Beirut, Lebanon.
Man, you are so international.
Yep, my daddy was in the CIA. I'm
Really?
a Diplo brat.
I didn't know that. Your pop was...
Neither did I until I was 18.
And so who was the show there at the place in Beirut?
Who was at the show?
Yeah, what
American
artists?
Kids.
What was the band playing there?
Oh, the Black Knights.
What were they called?
The Black Knights.
The Black Knights.
And our look was black turtleneck with a white shirt.
Oh, and it was you performing there, and about what year is this?
I was 12, and it was about 1960-something, early.
Wow, what a great piece of trivia that is, man. A couple more questions, and I'll let you go. What was your first album that you bought, Stuart?
The first album that I got was Help by the Beatles, but it was just because a friend of mine was going to England, and I gave him some money and said, bring me back something, and he got me this album, Help, which I loved, actually, even though I didn't consider the Beatles to be the greatest group. They were pretty much the only group at the time until Hendrix came along.
There you go.
The first album that I bought, that I'd selected and said I must have that album, would be Jimi Hendrix.
An appropriate first album, especially with Mitch being...
It was also the first concert I saw.
Was Jimmy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I played, since I was 12, I played in Beirut, but not too many rock bands toured Beirut in those days. Still don't. So when I went to boarding school in England, and my first time in London seeing a group that I'd ever heard about, you know, like a famous group, instead of like seeing a band playing off in the other end of the room or something,
sure,
a concert, was Jimi Hendrix.
Nice. What was the venue, do you remember?
It was the Savile Theater. It was the night Brian Epstein died.
Wow.
And by all accounts, it was, a lot of people said it was one of his best shows.
Damn, dude.
I didn't know. In fact, what was weird was I was disappointed, because I'd never heard amplified drums before, and I thought they sounded terrible. And there was I couldn't, Mitch Mitchell, all I could hear was sort of like just a noise. Badly amplified drums are a horrible thing, and I was so disappointed in the drums I couldn't hear them.
Concert sound was pretty crude back then, for sure, man.
Yeah, that's right.
A project that you do, I've seen Fish dozens of times. And,
dozens of times?
About like 40 sometimes.
Jeez.
That's dozens, right? That's 3 dozen.
Most Fish heads have seen the group dozens of times.
Yeah.
I don't know very many people who said, "Oh, I've seen them once."
No, well, I come from.
Well, they might have seen them once and not got into it. But if they're into Fish at all, they've seen them 40 times.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I'm not surprised too. I mean, Trey is one hell of a guitarist.
What's the future with Oysterhead? Right, that's the name of it.
Oh, we're still already thinking about O2, but Trey's got to get through this Fish tour. And it's funny, they all broke up, and the only people who knew that they hadn't really broken up was Les and I. And there's Trey saying, "Oh, we've broken up," and I talked to all the others. Yeah, well, I'm starting a new life now. The Fish guys are such great guys, but they're all embarking upon their new life. We go to their town, Burlington, Vermont, where in Vermont, each member of Fish owns a county.
Sure.
And so in Burlington, there, the offices of Fishdonia is this 3-story huge brick building, employing maybe 50, 100 people.
Dionysian.
And I'm looking at this huge edifice saying, you guys haven't broken up. You got a $2 million overhead right here. You guys are going back out on tour before the year is out. Period. Get over it. You haven't broken up. Until you fire all these people, till you sell your PA and your light company and unemploy all of your 20-man crew, you're still a band.
It's Grateful Dead style.
Yeah, and what a wonderful thing, too, because Dionysian is actually a great company full of really good people, and the road crew are a great crew, and then the Fish have absolutely the best. And we used all their stuff for the Oysterhead tour. Man, do they have a plush ride. They really know how to tour, those guys.
I know Jason Colton well. His cousin is the guy who got me started in radio, Jason Steinberg.
Oh, what do you know?
Yeah, and I also know Beth very well, who used to work in Boston.
Well, they're all good people, but man, the band can't break up with that kind of overhead.
That's what I mean. It's like it's Grateful Dead in that the Dead had such an organization at one point that they had to go out and always do these tours because of all the bills to support.
And the other thing is that they don't hate each other.
Right.
Why not? I mean, Trey, I know I can't, and the others too, really wanted to bust out, play with other musicians, do something else, and but they don't hate each other. And the music they make with each other is real great. So there's no good reason for them not to do it. The only thing is that they want to do other stuff as well, and I think they kind of did that. and feel much better now, and know that they still can do other stuff without breaking up fish.
I think that spirit when guys have fun with each other it makes fans like things even more. I always thought the Police from the outside as a band seemed like you guys had a lot of fun together.
Yeah, we did.
Someone here at the station was telling me about some of the shows that you've done here in Honolulu. Do you have any particular memories of like coming here, hanging out on a water?
Oh man, Hawaii was always the great stop, because after Hawaii, we'd play a grueling tour of North America, and then it would be Hawaii. Oh, yes, we had so much fun in Hawaii. We played a stadium there. We played various different places there at different times. And the only downside was next stop, Tokyo. And playing Japan has all kinds of good things about it, but it's quite austere, and it's quite grueling again. And Japan's an incredible country, but, it's work being there. And Hawaii is like the stop after we'd always play Hawaii when we were completely exhausted from, it was usually winter, and we get to Hawaii and suddenly it's summer, and then we'd have a few days we'd always take a few days off, and then the next thing would be Japan and Australia and back to work.
Well, Stewart, you got to know, bro, you got some friends here, and anytime you want to come back, we're going to be there to welcome you to the island, whether you just want to come and hang out and swim and surf and boogie board and stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends there in the north part of the island. Polo Club up there.
On Oahu.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. I'll let you go. Finally, Stewart, if you could retrace your steps over the last year, what one thing do you think that your fans are most curious about in your life that I maybe haven't asked you? What fascinating experience that you think they'd most like to hear your thoughts on very quickly? Some curiosity they may have about something that you've done.
How much fun was it to play some Doors gigs?
There's one.
Great. It was really cool.
It was a fun time?
Yeah. Played about 3 or 4 shows. It was very cool.
Recordings exist of any of those?
No. Well, there are probably bootlegs out there, yeah, as a matter of fact.
But a personal high for you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Stewart Copeland of the Police can be heard on the entire remastered Police catalog, also on the new collection Every Breath You Take, the classics, and of course on the DVD Every Breath You Take as well. That's the center of our final week here on 105.9, the Big Kahuna's month of British rock with American Stewart Copeland here. Hey man, I really appreciate your time, brother.
Thanks a lot.
Good to have you on the show here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Stewart Copeland, and you're listening to Your Radio. It's tuned to the man, Dave Lawrence.